Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sports Department Podcast, the Wrestling Recap version, where we will be going throughout the whole week in wrestling, talking about some of the main points, but more importantly, tonight is NXT Takeover Vengeance Day, so we're going to be taking a look at that card, breaking down all the matches, previewing, predicting all 5 of those matches. Looks like a really good card. But I'm Stephen Clark with Justin Valentovic and Jesse Norman. I said what we're here to do, but before we get into all that stuff, fellas, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Got some top series 2021 baseball cards. So got that little box cracked open. Got some good rookies. Didn't get crap in value other than that, but I was able to not have to fight people for the death for it at Target, so it's all good for me. And we have more snow up in North Jersey as usual, so gonna be pulling some overnights this week. So lucky me.
We don't like snow. It's funny because all of us are like in different areas of of Jersey, so like we all get different types of snow. Like Jesse, I know you told us you're starting to get. Like
I usually get the least amount of snow
down south.
Yeah,
I usually get a mix of whatever both you guys get for the most part. And you already said you're starting to get some like rainy, snowy type stuff right now.
We have had ice rain since about 2:00, and you guys haven't even gotten it yet. And for the record, it's like 7:43 at night. So
yeah, it's not supposed to start until midnight to 5 a.m. That's 30% chance. So
that's by you. So probably around like 10 o'clock for me, you'll probably start getting into the central Jersey area. But Jesse, how you doing otherwise besides the snow and stuff?
I'm good. At point of recording, Kevin Durant is going to be back, and it's the return of Scary Hours.
It's Scary Hours, baby.
So can't wait.
Warriors, right? Against the Warriors.
Yep, against the Warriors.
Should be fun. That's a fun matchup right there. But I'm glad you guys, for the most part, are doing well on this Saturday night when we're recording. This is going up on Sunday, so NXT Takeover is tonight. We're very excited for that. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about this weekend wrestling, and we're on the road to WrestleMania. So they have to start building to all these other secondary pay-per-views, and the first stop on the road to WrestleMania after the Royal Rumble is the Elimination Chamber. Usually a pretty good pay-per-view. The last couple of years, it's been iffy here or there, but they announced that Drew McIntyre will be defending his WWE title inside the chamber against 5 other former WWE champions. That is The Miz, Sheamus, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy. How are we feeling about this match this close to Mania with a lot of the contenders that could be his match at WrestleMania, potentially in this match?
Name-wise, this is a very, very loaded Elimination Chamber match. Really any of them could walk out with the belt if they really wanted to. Like, it's all viable options. It's just a matter of how they book it now. So it has very good potential, but I don't see it being a complete flop, but it could be very good.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Hardy's going to do in the chamber.
He's jumping off a pod.
Yeah, and then he's going to do like a backstage interview after, and he's going to be like, man, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And it's like, Jeff, literally nobody's asking you to do this, man. It's just you. But no, I think all the options are pretty good. The only one I really don't like is one I've never liked, and that's Sheamus, but he fits the storyline, so cool for him.
At this point, that might be our Mania match, because I have no idea what Drew's going to do at WrestleMania still.
God, that's so bad. In 2021, like that's appalling. Sheamus was in the tag division for 3 years, and now you're gonna put him back at Mania for the championship.
For the most,
No, thank you.
I like the way the feud's going. It's a great championship match for a Money in the Bank pay-per-view, a Fastlane pay-per-view. Not one of the big 4 though, especially not WrestleMania. But I'm pretty sure we'll get to predictions next week, because this pay-per-view is already next week. We have back-to-back weeks with pay-per-views, so it looks like Drew's most likely going to wait and challenge one of those, probably, who got screwed in the match somehow at WrestleMania, because it's more than likely Edge is going to SmackDown to face Roman for that title. But
I really hope it's Jeff. If it's got to be one out of all these guys, I think the freshest feel is Jeff. I think the best match, we've already seen it, would be Drew AJ. But if they're going to pick one out of these guys, I would go Jeff. But then I think we get the cash in then. I think if this match is going to lack like a real top thing like Edge and Roman, they're going to need the cash in to add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just very intriguing. They can go so many different directions with this, and we just don't know what they're going to do yet, which is actually a good thing because usually we hear rumors online of who's versing who at Mania and all that stuff. We honestly don't know at this point. So maybe you get a Brock cameo at some point too. It's WrestleMania season. That means Brock always comes around at some point too.
I
But
hope not.
hey, man,
It's that payday.
it's that Brock contract.
I'd like one WrestleMania without Brock. Like that would do my heart some
I mean,
good.
you had a bunch from
or if you throw Brock in a not championship match.
Yeah, just anything
that'd
else.
be nice.
You had almost the whole 20s without Brock of WrestleMania.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's fine.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now, so.
That's almost.
It's fair to complain. It's been like 7 years.
See, I like Brock when he's around. Just I don't like when he's holding the title. If he's in a championship match,
exactly. But that's the thing. When is he not holding the title?
True.
Like
true.
That's in the contract. Is like, oh, you want me to come back? All right, I'm the champion then.
Yeah. But that's it for that little segment of Monday Night Raw. Another thing that's a little controversial right now to a lot of people, not to me, is Bad Bunny has stuck around ever since.
I thought we were talking about something else.
Oh, we'll get to your favorite part of the show after this.
That's controversial to me.
Well, before we get to that, Bad Bunny has stuck around since Royal Rumble and is in this feud with Miz and Morrison. Kind of brought up Damian Priest with him from NXT. It seems like the Puerto Rican guys are sticking together, and it looks like he's gonna most likely have a match at WrestleMania, which I'm personally okay with. It's bigger for WWE than it is for Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is a worldwide star, the most streamed artist on Spotify in 2020. He's a big deal, and a lot of people are crapping on this, but these are the same people that love the idea of Shaq versus Cody in AEW, a lot of them. So I just want to get your opinions. Do you like the celebrity cameos? Are you not a fan?
Celebrity matches, when the celebrity themselves care and they give it the effort, they can be done really well. Pat McAfee was one of them. Stephen Amell way back when wasn't bad, but then on the opposite side, you get Snooki. That's kind of the spectrum. It seems like Bad
Snooki
Bunny
wasn't the worst.
Yeah, but it seems like Bad Bunny growing up, was a wrestling fan, and typically the ones who are wrestling fans and care, or at least want to try, they're typically, par for the course and pretty good. And I assume he might be, I'm sure Booker T will probably be involved somehow because he's the song, but him with Damian Priest, it can't be bad. It won't be terrible.
Yeah.
Now here's my thing.
No, it's good for WWE.
Now
like Clark, just like you said.
And he pulls ratings, and he's it's all money, and it works. So that's why they're gonna push him for a little bit. Now, if he hangs around after Mania, it could get stale, but I don't think it will. After Mania, it won't go on post Mania.
Yes, like I said earlier, it is good for WWE, but it's also good in a way. It's kind of like the smaller picture here, but it's good for Damian Priest as well. A guy who was floating around in NXT a little bit. You see him, he's going to get lost in the main roster. He's looks like he did a team up with one of the biggest Latin rappers in the world right now at WrestleMania. Like that, if that's not a push, then I don't know what is a push. I even going back to the Shaq thing that I brought up too in AEW. I'm cool with Shaq making appearances on AEW and stuff. That's great publicity for inside the NBA and all that stuff. They can talk about AEW on there and vice versa, get some NBA viewers to watch wrestling and all that. But them stepping in the ring is another story. Like if the match works and it has a good story behind it, I'm with them. Good stepping in the ring, but for the most part, stay out of the ring. Stay out of the ring.
Exactly. But it seems like he's training. So at least
he's been at the PC.
So at least, it's not like they're just going to come in and do like the finish of the match and kind of not really do anything throughout the course of it. Like I assume he'll get some, not like significant offense, but
he'll have a couple combos.
Yeah.
They'll show him
a
couple things.
They'll make him look good. Right. And the big thing is that he cares,
Mm-hmm.
or at least he seems like he cares because he was a fan. Yeah. So at least he'll give it like the respect that he should at least try it and give a shit about it.
Exactly. All right, enough talking about that. We're gonna get to Justin's favorite part of the night. It was a tables match between Nia Jax and Lana. Nia Jax is going for a big leg drop on the apron with Lana's skinny little body there. All of a sudden, Lana moves. Nia's big, round, rotund bottom hits the apron, and she screams, Justin, what are those famous words?
My hole. My
My whole Justin, tell me why you love this so much and love that it's a cultural phenomenon on
This
Twitter.
is stupid. This is just stupid. It is dumb. The fact that now her gimmick will literally be her butthole is the stupidest thing next to the Kiss My Ass Club with Vince McMahon. They just took it one.
Natalia farted.
That
That was Natalia's gimmick for a
Yeah.
while. I think
Yeah.
you forgot that.
They're just going from the cheek to the to the export of from the ass to now the physical opening of it, and this is going to drag on way too long. Thank God this didn't happen at Rumble, because this was how she would have been eliminated. Damn well that's what's going to happen. If she's in the chamber, it's going to happen in the chamber match if there's a women's chamber, and it's just oh God, this
First
is
of all, who
stupid.
said export?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who said it got to be export? Anyways,
this is just going to drag on. It's stupid. There's going to be shirts. You're going to buy one, Clark. So it's just stupid. It's dumb. This just shouldn't exist. Whoever came up with this is a child, and I can tell where their mental capacity is based on this.
And you can tell by how Justin
You
looking.
think
How,
somebody
how
came
I'm
up with
looking.
this? I think she might have.
Actually,
I think she might have improv'd it.
Wasn't it like X-Pac who literally tore his asshole one time and was?
I think she meant to say my whole butt, not her actual hole, but she just got cut off.
No, but just say my butt. Just say my butt, not
Her
my hole.
hole.
Not my hole, just my butt.
She meant WHOLE. I still think to this day. She didn't. She meant to say my whole butt. Ow.
Like her whole ass.
Yes, exactly. But she just was winded and out of breath, and Lana was about to put her through a table on the outside. So all that got out was my hole.
Yeah.
That's enough talking about holes. Let's go into Friday Night
Stupid.
SmackDown.
It's so stupid. It's so
it's
stupid.
so funny. It's so funny. And we're going into Friday Night SmackDown, and we have the return of Seth Rollins. We saw him at the Royal Rumble in his Messiah theme song and dressed up as the, I guess, Friday Night Messiah, I guess you would call it. But instead, he entered the Thunderdome this Friday on SmackDown, coming out to burn it down with the fires coming out and everything, and trying to be oh, my daughter changed me and made me a better person. I no longer have to be the Messiah. All you have to do is embrace my vision. That's his new catchphrase. It seems like it's on the t-shirt on shop.com already. Embrace the vision. And he got into a little scuffle with Cesaro, because Cesaro apparently didn't embrace his vision and all that.
Boy, they're trying to cash in on WandaVision, I guess.
Hey, maybe it's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very good show. I'm cool with this version of Rollins coming back, because he kind of sacrificed himself and kind of died at Survivor Series in a way. It feels like it's kind of like the Bible
also the Monday Night
For
Messiah.
nothing. For what? What did he sacrifice himself for? So that they could get swept?
Yeah, they did. You're right. They did get swept.
They got clean swept.
But he sacrificed himself and resurrected as the Burn It Down guy. So,
but also,
I'm cool with it.
That's fine, because the Monday Night Messiah just turned into the Mysterio versus the Messiah type of feud. So that character kind of just got botched and kind of fell flat. So a subtle rebrand quite easily, I'm all good with. Good for me.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Norms?
good for
fan
Quick
of the
question: Is the last time we seen Aleister Black when he was doing the Seth Rollins thing?
When he was a pirate?
I think it was like a.
Did he come
yes.
out?
He's the pirate.
Did he come out on the KO show for something?
Yes, that might have been.
That was right. That was around the Rollins time. That was when Rollins messed up his
And then
eye.
he came out with the new theme song and everything, and hasn't been seen since.
And never will be seen again.
All right, I just wanted to double check.
You just want a point of clarification?
Yeah, I mean, this is cool for Rollins, I guess. The Friday Night Messiah thing was pretty
Bland.
stale. And they didn't do nearly enough with it. Like, I remember Clark when he first started, I was like, this is the best Rollins has been in years. And they besides the one really good Drew match at Money in the Bank, they just kept doing Rollins and Mysterios over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it had no payoff. There was no payoff for the Messiah character.
Yeah.
Like, if it was used to push Buddy Murphy, cool. But he's not really doing anything.
He apparently, I guess he's still dating Mysterio's daughter in storyline for him, because they both haven't been seen.
I mean, and that's great, but like, there's a chamber happening that Sheamus is in. You're telling me Buddy Murphy can't be in there? Like, he would be. I'm not saying he's a bigger name than Sheamus, but he'd be better in the chamber than Sheamus.
Yeah, and speaking of chambers, that's what they had. They had a lot of qualifying matches on SmackDown this
Graphic
week.
for the chamber looks cool.
It is. It
Just
is.
saying.
It does.
Oh,
look
they
cool.
always do super cool graphics for the chambers.
Yeah,
And the
it does look cool.
transitions on the chamber pay-per-view always are so good.
Yeah. So the original plan was Adam Pearce said to Roman earlier in the night, you have to defend your title inside the chamber. And Roman basically bullied him into having a number one contenders chamber. And the winner of that chamber faces Roman later in the night at Elimination Chamber. So that's what we got going on. And Pierce said 2 men don't need to qualify because they proved to themselves over the last couple of months that they deserve to be in this chamber. And those 2 men were Jey Uso and Kevin Owens. So those 2 were announced first thing on Friday Night SmackDown. And then they had tag team qualifying matches where, firstly, thank God, King Corbin and Sami Zayn defeated the Mysterios because I did not want to see Dominic Mysterio inside an Elimination Chamber. And then in the main event, it was Daniel.
Awful.
Yeah, no, that would have been bad. And then in the main event, Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, again, thank God, beat Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler to earn their spots into the chamber. And that's our match. All those 6 guys I just said, winner faces Roman later in the night. I'm
Isn't
excited.
it kind of funny that the 2 real tag teams lost?
The father and son duo and the tag
father
team
and son
champions.
duo and the tag team champions. It just shows, like, if anybody ever actually cared and was like, hey, you want to make a tag team? Like, they could just be the champions.
Just literally
tag
get the 2
division
top
so
stars.
bad.
Like,
Yeah,
make like the Daniel Bryan and like Kevin Owens tag team. They'll be tag champs.
they would run the division. They would run the
Exactly.
division for years if they ever decided to.
But I love this. I love what they're doing with this, making Roman like kind of like, hey, like I want my way around here. I'm the head of the table. You know, y'all listen to me over there. And the way after you go through an entire Elimination Chamber match, have to verse me in the exact same night, not at WrestleMania, not at Fastlane, not on the following Friday Night SmackDown, but the same night. I love this story that they're running with this.
Yeah, no, that's great because it sets up for a cash in if Miz loses the chamber, you know, for an attempt at it.
Oh, I think Miz is going to lose the chamber intentionally as quickly as
To be
possible,
fresh,
and
to
then
be
hope,
fresh.
and then hope that he can slide back in when the chamber's over. Because we haven't had a cash in at a chamber since Edge first did it,
Yeah, since the first one.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, since the
After-
first one after Cena ran through the whole chamber.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's one of the perfect times to cash in
To do
is
it.
after a chamber.
Yeah. So does Miz walk into Mania with the title? I know we're going back to the Raw chamber, but does Miz walk into Mania with the title?
No,
no.
I think when Miz cashes in, he's not going to win.
That's a shame. That's such a shame. All that they did with Otis winning to Otis losing it.
I think they're making him more of like a comedy character now, more so than ever.
Yeah.
Which again, in that case, why'd you take it off Otis, who is quite literally a comedy character?
Yeah, exactly. It's like Otis cashing in on Roman would have been hilarious, honestly, just to see those two characters clash. But 2 Elimination Chamber matches set for next week. It's pay-per-view looking really, really good at this point. I think there's a triple threat that might steal the show between Lashley, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee for the U.S. title.
Newly
That's a lot of
engaged
fun.
Keith Lee.
You're right. You're right. With Mia Yim, who's been off TV because I think she got COVID, but we haven't really had like a real wrestling recap to report all that stuff. I'll come back in like 2 weeks from now because of all the pay-per-views and all that. But that's a quick synopsis of this week in wrestling, not including NXT because we're about to talk NXT right now. Because like I said, tonight is NXT Takeover Vengeance Day, a pretty decently stacked card highlighted by this match. But before we get into the card, we had our predictions for the Royal Rumble, and the winner of our first predictions was Jesse. Jesse did win. He had the most right by double, basically. He had 4 right altogether. I gave 2 points extra for calling the women's for the Rumble winners, and he did pick Bianca Belair to win the Rumble. He finished with 4 points of the night. I finished with 2, and Justin finished with a solid 1 point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Are we keeping a running total as well? We should keep a running total.
You want to do a running total as well?
Okay.
I think a running total as well would be cool too.
Yeah.
Running total as well, but I'm not going to count that towards like the
prize.
The prize right now is
Okay,
Jesse's in the
sounds
lead
good.
1-0 to 0. That's that's in the lead for the
Okay.
prize.
Wait, we can do if there's a tie, then it goes to
Yeah,
running total.
the
Like if
points.
it's
Perfect.
1-1-0
Perfect.
or something. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll
We'll
start.
just work that out on
I'll
air.
start keeping track of the points then.
What are we doing for the prize? Did we figure that out yet?
No, we have 12 months to figure
I
it
think
out.
the t-shirt idea was cool.
T-shirt's cool. If we can get like a trophy would be awesome.
That'd be more expensive than a
Trophy
t-shirt.
would be cool.
Yeah, but a trophy. But you can if we all like
Get a little slam.
you
Do they have a
can get
knockoff? Do they have a knockoff Slammy award we can put a thing on? You
I
probably
know a
find it.
great trophy shop in Little Falls.
I
passed
pass
it.
that all the time.
I probably passed that close to 1,000 times with all
Honestly,
the trips up to
even if you
Willie
like
Patterson.
just a little trophy, the winner keeps it for the year unless they
Okay,
win it
we'll
again
figure
or
it out.
something.
We have time to.
We have
not
12
do it.
months to figure this out. 11 months to figure
Let's
this
buy a
out.
real gold belt.
Honestly,
They
that
sell
sounds fun.
them.
That sounds fun. I'm not giving up any like Mike titles back there like that one. That's staying up there. I'm not getting rid of that one. But
You're not putting a signed KO one on the line.
no, I am not.
Not
But
a
like
gambling
I said,
man, I see.
yeah, that's why I have
Bitch.
$0 in my Draft Kings account right now. Not a good gambler, but anyways, Jesse's in the lead, 1-0, winning in the point as well at this point. But let's predict this pay-per-view. And Jesse, you won, so you had to start with the main event, which is NXT champion Finn Balor defending his title against Peter Dunne. Jesse, who's your pick and why?
I think it's got to be Balor. The only way Balor loses is if they want to move him up to the main roster before Mania, and I don't think they necessarily want to do that. While I love Pete Dunne and I think Pete Dunne is fantastic, I don't think he is the guy to take the belt off of Balor.
Yeah.
No, I really like Pete Dunne, and I really think he's going to be good on the main roster, and he's great in NXT. But I really think they kind of need to move him up, because if you're not going to make him NXT champion, there's kind of nothing else for him to do down there.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to keep the belt on Finn ultimately until we get Karrion Kross versus like the Demon. Basically, is going to be kind of the end game of Finn's
Phil.
title run. Yeah, Phil. I was thinking Phil Rivers.
I miss him.
He didn't get title run.
No.
But like with Pete Dunne, I feel like if he was going to win the NXT championship, it would have to be against anyone else but Finn, just because we kind of see the collision course eventually with Karrion Kross and Finn, because they kind of teased it earlier on, then moved away from it, and then we're here now. So ultimately, give me Finn.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Balor as well. I like what you said, Justin, about Karrion Kross and all that, because I feel like the money match. I feel like I heard might be an NXT title match on the main card of WrestleMania, because they got to fill up those 2 nights somehow. So if you do Karrion Kross, who is like a superstar in the making right there, like just the presence of him, seeing his entrance with Scarlett and all that, is so much fun. And then you see the Demon come out right after that. I think that's just a perfect WrestleMania match, and I think that's where Kross takes back the title he never lost. So for this match, I am going to stick with Balor as well. So we're all going Balor for that match. And into the second match that was listed, it is a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai will be defending against Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. I will go first for this match, and even though Toni and Mercedes are very viable contenders to the title, Io could lose the title by not being pinned or submitted either. It is a triple threat match. I think this does stay with Io in this match. I just don't see any of them as the biggest threat to take the title off of her. I think either Raquel or Dakota again, or someone else, Ember Moon maybe, or Shotzi eventually is a bigger threat to take the title off, or even Xia Li, who's being built up as this new Chinese warrior with
It's
Boa.
just a
and
monster.
Oh my God, that's insane. I love what they're doing with that. That's just such great storytelling. But there's just other women that I feel like could be the one. Maybe Toni in a one-on-one match or something, but not this night, not Takeover Vengeance Day. I think Io still keeps the title.
Yeah, I think Io's
the same reasoning for.
No,
I was going to say same reasoning for Balor and Dunne. It's just viable contenders, but are they going to be the ones to take the belt off Io?
Yes.
I don't think so, because in the long run, it makes much more sense to give that to a Raquel or to give that to a Lee, like you said.
Exactly.
Toni Storm is great, Mercedes Martinez is great, but I don't really see them taking the belt off of her.
So
yeah, me too. Just because like Jesse said, Storm good, Mercedes Martinez good, but if they were going to take the belt off of Io,
Io's on the tear of being like
that's
the
next
greatest
Asuka.
women's champion
That's the
right
thing.
now.
But and
Exactly.
if they were going to take the belt off of Io, she will not be involved in the pin at all.
Yeah, it'd be like Mercedes Martinez getting pinned or something. I think
Yeah.
Tony has a way better chance of winning than Mercedes, just
But
because.
my pick's also Io officially.
Okay, EO around the clock
Around
again.
the clock, yeah.
Oh baby,
Boy, we might just straight
if
draw
we
this
all
one.
have the same, I might have to just change up a couple picks just to
Yeah, I might have to do some counter picks here.
Just
Exactly.
keep it in the running.
So all EO down there. And third match that was listed on WWE.com is NXT North American Champion Johnny Gargano will be defending his title against Kushida. Justin, I'll let you go first for this one.
The Gargano way, very good. I like him.
Yeah.
But also with Kushida, since he's really kind of come in, they've really done nothing with him too much. You know, he got a little bit of push to here and there, but with a mix of me trying to make some moves in the picks here, I'm just going to go with Kushida just because I feel like this would be the title that would change hands.
Jesse?
Interesting. I can see why you would pick Kushida. I am not. I don't think they've built him up enough. I feel like Gargano has.
Yeah,
Gargano's had the belt much. Like,
but the North American title, we've seen.
But that's the thing. Even if Kushida wins,
I'm going straight for points.
They're just gonna run They're still gonna run Gargano Kushida again. So I feel like Gargano's got to win. And then,
but the North American title,
I think if this was going to be Kushida, they'd have to build him up. That's true, but also you got to remember they might have taken it off Priest and everything because they might have known they were going to move him up, and that's why they did that whole storyline. So they might have got him the North American belt and then given him a little bit of credibility and then had him lose it and then have him move up. I think that's what they did. I think they value moving titles around a little bit more than WWE normally does. So I'm going to say they keep it with Gargano because I think they have a longer term picture for this.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that point. That I was actually originally I put down Kushida for my pick, but I'm going with Gargano as well just because
I swayed you.
He swayed me a tad. I was very on the fence about this one. Like I did all my picks before we started the
Can't wait for this one to be
recording.
The only one I'm wrong on, and it's the only one that
it might be the one. It might be the one that makes you win though too. But Gargano has been trying to cheat his way every single way in NXT. Like he came out in a cast on NXT this week and was in a wheelchair and said, "I can't walk because I have a broken arm." So he's this really chicken-ish type heel. That I just feel like he's gonna find a will. If there's a will, there's a way. He's gonna find a way to cheat and get this win. This is to prolong the feud. Eventually, Kushida will probably win the title. It's a perfect title for him to win. He hasn't been doing much, so it's good to see him in a title feud, but not right now for me. So I'm going to go Gargano too. Jesse went Gargano with me, and Justin is lone wolf
Kushida
on Kushida, which is actually not a bad pick. It's really not. It's very heads or tails with this one, but
can't wait for it to blow up in my face.
It might, or it might make you win the whole thing too.
It could make me look really good. Really bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to crap on you for a prediction because last time I did that, the Bucks won the NFC Championship game against the Packers, and I was like, "Why'd you pick the Bucks?" But they're Super Bowl champions right now, so your predictions worked out well there. And now we have our two Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Cup Classic, whatever finals that we have going on. We'll start with the women. We have the team of Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Jesse, we're back around to you. Who is winning the first ever women's Dusty Cup?
I'm really split on this because I really want it to be Raquel and Dakota.
Yes.
But I also think Raquel is going to be the one that beats Io for the belt. But then also, is Raquel going to be the first NXT double champion? And then they really built her
Jesus Christ.
For the fact that I just want Raquel and Dakota to be the women's champions, I'm going to take Raquel and Dakota.
Okay. Justin, go ahead.
I think this is going to be the slow build of Raquel kind of becoming the next big women's star in NXT. So, because they get a women's tag shot, right?
Yes, they get a tag team
Yeah.
championship match.
I think this would be a good way to bring them up a little bit on the main roster, but not fully keep them on the main roster and kind of test the waters, see what show they kind of work better with to eventually, because these two women are going to get called up eventually. Same thing with Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, but I feel like they're more NXT characters long term. So that's why I feel like it's going to be Raquel and Dakota.
And I am agreeing with both of you guys. I'm a big Raquel fan to begin with, so I was a little biased in this one. But they're just more of a tag team to me. Like they've been a team for like
more because they're
a
more,
year now almost.
Yeah, because they started out not really as a tag team, but just kind of like friends, like,
bodyguard type thing.
Yeah, like I have your back, you have mine, we help each other out. And like as a whole, like when the Dusty Rhodes women's tournament was announced, they were kind of like the only true women's tag team.
It felt like it was kind of made for them.
That wasn't forced and thrown together.
And I think even though I know they get a title match that we talked about too, this is a really good way to get those tag titles.
They're already the best women's tag team.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
WWE. Keep these titles in NXT now too, because the amount of women that for a year, I'm fine with a year. Toss them around.
Have them appear.
Have
on
the
Raw,
Iconics move
SmackDown.
back down.
No, and like have them appear every once in a while on like Raw and SmackDown just to keep the whole idea of it can circulate around. But we've never seen the belts really go from Raw like down to NXT. Like we could.
Sasha and Bailey said they were going to,
and they
they didn't.
Like once.
They did once, yeah.
Yeah. Great American Bash, they made an appearance. Basically, is what it was.
And if we see these belts stay in NXT for a little bit, we just know that Vince doesn't care about the titles at all.
No.
But that's the women's cup match. Now we're doing the men's Dusty Cup match, which is the new tag team from TNA. They were the Rascals. Now they're MSK versus last year's runner-up, I believe, too, which might sway me a little bit. Grizzled Young Veterans. They came up short last year. They made it back to the cup this year, versus a new tag team at MSK. It is my pick to start. MSK was a mystery tag team when the whole cup started. They didn't know who was going to be in that mystery spot, but it wound up being them. I just feel like they've been built up really, really well over this whole tournament, that this will propel them. And they're new. They need the exposure. They need to win the Dusty Cup, I feel. Grizzled Young Veterans, they're great. They're former NXT UK tag team champions, but they'll have plenty of other opportunities, I feel, to win the cup eventually, or win the tag team titles eventually. And this is just a perfect stepping stone and a great big first accomplishment for MSK. So I'm going to stick with MSK to win the cup.
Yeah, I feel like just because they're the big signing to come in, they're new to the scene. They want to give them some momentum. This is the perfect way of doing it. So it's going to be MSK. And maybe with the Grizzled Young Vets, they can kind of make it their thing where they're just runners up. Kind of like the Buffalo Bills in the 90s. They can lose it 4 straight years.
The Grizzled Young Vets are really good. But like you said, Clark, they've already had some accomplishments. They've been the UK tag title
you guys see that the horses
holders. Yeah, exactly. But no, I think the Grizzled Young Vets, like they've kind of already done some stuff. So I think this win does mean a lot more if it goes to MSK. Me and Clark, I think, now have the same exact.
We have the exact same
yes,
card.
You do. So literally, the only way I could get you guys can gain or lose ground is on Gargano and Kushida.
Yeah, we have the exact same card.
So even if we win, me and Clark tie.
Yeah, and you're still in the lead no matter what overall.
Yes, because worst case, I gain a
Sounds
point.
good to me.
So
basically, because you gained, because you have 4, Jesse. Clark, you have 2 and I have 1, right? So basically, I can only tie Clark.
At the end of the day, I'm still ahead, yeah.
At the end of the day, if it was later in the year and we were still tied at this point, I would 100% be changing like half of my responses right now.
I would have went Grizzled Young Vets if I had to.
I would have went Grizzled Young Vets. I would have went Kushida. I probably would have went Tony too. I would have won Tony Storm. I feel like,
to really throw that one in there. Yeah,
I gotta change up a couple of them. But those are our predictions. Like we just said, Jesse and I have basically the same predictions, which makes me feel good because he won last month, so that makes me feel really good. Justin's only 1 off from us, but it could make him
Justin's
be the big winner.
Last. Who we kidding?
You said it, we didn't. But that does it for this episode of the Sports Department Podcast. Thank you guys for listening to this very fun edition that we just did. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. Doesn't have to be those websites. People use other apps too, like TuneIn, Stitcher, whatever we upload our stuff to. What's it called? Pocket Cast.
I just put it on Anchor and wherever.
Anchor,
it
that's
is, where it
another
goes.
one. People listen all over, so let's listen wherever you can. Follow us on our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Sports Depth Pod. That's Sports DEPT Pod. We have this podcast just uploaded a reaction to NXT Takeover Vengeance Day. Probably, I know Jesse and Steve did their mock draft. That's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, when Justin's lazy ass gets around to editing it.
That.
We just have too much snow.
We recorded that before the Super Bowl, so we have the Chiefs at 32 and the Bucks at 31.
It doesn't matter.
Ooh,
Put a little disclaimer there. If it wasn't snowing every freaking day here in New Jersey, it'd be up by now. But I just got home from work and I'm tired.
Hey,
so that's that. It's okay.
Whenever that's up. Baseball's coming soon. Season starting.
Yeah, we gotta do some division.
Yeah,
previews.
we gotta do that really soon.
My plan for that is basically each week we'll talk about a new division. So leading up to April 1st, we would have it done.
That's coming. Hockey, basketball, all that fun stuff. Stay tuned to that, and we'll see you in the next episode.